আচ্ছা, তো মাত্রা দৌড়ে এটা দুইটা নম্বরে একজন আনসার পারে না, একজন পারে। দুইটা দুইটা নামে একজন পায়রা Good evening. Greetings from the Institute of Global Professional IGP Bangladesh. Greetings from the Institute of Global Professional IGP Bangladesh. Thank you all for joining us and staying with us till the end. Honorable Knowledge Seeker, today I am your host for the evening. My name is Batul Dash. I am from Bangladesh. Dear Knowledge Seeker, I am proud to be associated with IGP as a global member. IGP is a social and ISO certified international training institute. In 3 years, we already served 3 million plus knowledge seekers from 100 plus countries. IGP is internationally recognized and globally accredited. We are connected to more than 250 plus professions and 4,500 plus organizations. Institute of Global Professional IGP is a training faculty for skill development which was founded in 2020 and is generating competent candidates to meet demand in the global labor market by providing professional qualification. The Institute of Global Professional is an education institute that provides social work globally recognized and reportable. We serve student and community resource providing holistic social work and education. We believe that it's not effective to increase one skill just by acquiring formal education. So we provide effective training and consultation to generate professional generation all over the world. We distribute our services locally, national, international to students, job seeker, job holder, and also for learner, the respective campus location and distance learning platform. We are an occupational and dependable institute. IGP is one of the famous online institutes from all over the world. Our vision is education is not a business product, it's a part of our human rights. Based on our vision, we are trying to reach all corners of the world for free webinars, seminar courses, about quiz competition, mentoring, and counseling, etc. On the other side, we are also trying to offer more than 100 premium services for free, like create own portfolio website, resume builder, cover letter, motivation letter, and wall knowledge platform for gathering general knowledge, which can update all day. Kids learning game, free course, converse sites, and many, many more. We help empower you to learn to meet their expectation and dream and become highly skilled people. We implement several training programs, webinar and offline online courses for youth and learner by professional trainer, speaker, and coaches. Our sessions are conducted by globally renowned professionals to develop all kind of youth and to promote the education of their ability and personality. To ensure excellent in-depth instruction, we arrange with qualified trainer, speaker, and instructor. We extended free services to more than 3 million knowledge seekers in last 3 years. We have affiliation with universities and organizations in 70 different countries. Virtual mode signing with many colleges and organizations have been accomplished. We are working to create a legendary generation of future scholars and citizens who will be accountable. We are constantly prepared to assist all knowledge seekers with valuable service. Spreading knowledge is crucial for the Institute of Global Professionals. We believe that knowledge is love and light and vision. So we try to understand the need of today's generation and will serve them with good research and practice methods. We must have a genuine concern for the learner we represent. More diversity, growth, and innovation are required to lead the session with professionalism, passion, and integrity. IGP member committed to offering effective best quality service and continual improvement so that individuals who seek information can improve their skill level and value. Before we move to the next, let me remind don't forget to share, tag, and mention your friend in the comment box. Your support is very valuable for us. Thank you. Before we move to the next, let me remind don't forget to share, tag, and mention your friend in the comment box. Your support is very valuable for us. Thank you. Moving to the next with your continuous support, we already completed 1,404 webinars successfully. Wow. Moving to the next with your continuous support, we already completed 1,406 webinars successfully. At present, we are going to start our 1,407 webinar, which name is Model of Blended Learning and its Approaches. And today our speaker's name is Arnola Ryan Yu, Marcado. He is from Philippines. Before I hand over the stage to our speaker, sir, also share a very little bit about him. Teacher 3, Antipolo City Senior High School, Microsoft Innovative Educator, National Certified Passer, Computer System Services, Supreme Student Government Advisor, School Disaster Risk Reduction Coordinator, Science and Social Science Coach. Now, very important moment for me to invite our speaker to IGP with his presentation. Now, very important moment for me to invite our speaker to IGP with his presentation. Hello, sir. Good evening.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening. And hello, everyone, to our listeners and participants in this webinar.
Sir, the stage is yours. You can start your presentation now.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, IGP, for this opportunity to be again your speaker for this day. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon for those listeners and participants around the world, around the globe, and hopefully you'll learn a lot from this. And our topic for this day is all about models of blended learning and its approaches. So before anything else, let us first discuss the meaning of this. If you're familiar with online learning in any way, there's no doubt you already heard about blended learning. The education field has gone through significant changes in recent years. As teachers, as an educator, we strive to help students engage with their learning in deep and meaningful ways. New strategies help them reach these goals. Blended learning models represent an innovative way to promote student success. All right, and these are our objectives for this day. Define blended learning, identify models of blended learning and its approaches, and blended learning versus the hybrid learning. So later we will differentiate between the two. All right. So blended learning, we all know that blended learning are methods for encouraging hybrid learning. Schools and teachers create experiences and opportunities that combine face-to-face learning with distance learning. Blended learning began primarily as an approach. It's an approach designed to augment traditional instruction methods to students who attended classes in a physical school building all day or every day. However, these methods have also been leveraged to support a combination of in-person education and at-home learning. There are all several or different distinct models, but they all share several important aspects. The main definition of blended learning is it is a style of education in which the students learn via electronic and online media as well as traditional face-to-face teaching. Defining hybrid or blended education is a trickier task that one might think opinions vary widely on that matter. According to the report of Sloan Consortium, they defined hybrid courses as those that integrate online with traditional face-to-face class activities in a planned, pedagogically valuable manner. Educators probably disagree on what qualifies a pedagogically valuable, but the essence is clear. Hybrid education uses online technology, not just a supplement, but transform and improve the learning process. But it doesn't mean that a professor or teacher can simply start a chat room or upload a lecture videos and say he or she is leading a hybrid classroom. According to Education Elements, which develops hybrid learning technologies, successful blended learning happens when technology and teaching inform each other. Material becomes dynamic when it teaches the students of varying learning styles. In other words, hybrid classrooms on the internet can reach and engage students in a truly customized way. In this scenario, online education is a game changer, not just a supplement of the status quo. But what does the theoretical model actually look like in a certain practice? Now let's talk about blended learning. Blended learning models usually leverage a combination of each person instruction techniques, teacher-led online modules, and self-paced learning. Students may participate in a combination of independent study, small group learning, and whole class instruction, whether it's online or in person. Often, schools use elements of station rotation, a situation in which individual learners or small groups shift among the various learning configurations on their own or according to predetermined schedule. Regardless of which model is employed, it recommends that educators need to incorporate the following attributes as they design the blended learning experiences. Like for example, number one, attention grabbing content introductions that activate students' engagement. This really matters. Modeling and chunking strategies for helping the students develop new skills. Third, check for understanding and assessments that align with learning goals. Fourth, opportunities for interacting with other students to collaborate and process together. And the most important thing is scaffolding encourages learners to connect their understanding with meaningful scenarios. So for this picture, we have the following blended learning. Make the mix you want. We can have face-to-face, connected learning, online learning, global connections, and project-based learning. These are some of the important strategies that can be used by the teacher or an educator to establish well the blended learning. Number two, you must be super well structured and expectations must be super clear to the students. It will be discussed at first since you are making some orientations to your students or learners. Blended learning is a combining teaching strategies, combining delivery media, and combining online and face-to-face learning. So what are the advantages and disadvantages for implementing blended learning? But this time, I'll be highlighting the advantages of blended learning. One of the advantage is, is that blended learning helps you reach a larger audience in a shorter time. Why? Because in contrary to the traditional methods, blended learning doesn't require the trainer or the teacher to be present all the time. Traditional classroom settings are constrained to a limited number of people at the same time. For some training topics or lesson topics, it's impossible to transition to online teaching completely. For instance, some training requires practical and hands-on activities. In that case, you can publish some of your training content in a learning management system or what we call LMS. It will help you to scale and give the theoretical part of your training or lesson. While your learners are busy learning by themselves, you can dedicate yourself to other tasks, including in-person training sessions. Next, we also have another advantage is better preparation and feedback. Another important benefit is that blended learning makes traditional training or traditional lessons or traditional classes more valuable. When students can complete their assignments independently, they can come to the class with the same knowledge level. There is more time for useful discussions and to practice what they have learned. While they complete the online materials, the assignments on their own, As an educator and teacher, we can do less work and relax. Yet, it's also possible to assist learners who require more information, who is one of the main benefits of the blended learning. Then you can complete the feedback loop when you adjust your lesson based on the first lesson session results or first training, if ever it's a training session. Another advantage is it's great for the non-technology fans. Some people in the education sector are not big fan of technology, even though they recognize its benefits. Also, some learners or teachers, some students might not like it either, mostly when they're already used to face training. But because of blended learning, it helps. It helps the learners, it helps the students, or also the teachers to embrace the importance of technology as part of their everyday learning process and everyday teaching process. Next one. We also have accessibility. Of course, accessibility is really important when you have the internet connection, you have the video lessons or the lecture or the manual or the module. Accessibility can happen anytime and anywhere for the learners and for the teachers. Next, up to date, of course. Being up to date, the information is really embedded on that material. Teaching is less expensive to deliver, more affordable, and serves time. Blended learning offers flexibility in terms of availability. In other words, blended learning enables the students to access the materials from anywhere at any time while enjoying the benefits of face-to-face support and instruction. Access to global resources and materials that meet the student's level of knowledge and interests. Also, self self-pacing for slow or quick learners reduces the stress. Also, it increases satisfaction and information retention. Electronic learning allows more effective interactions between the learners and their instructors or teachers through the use of emails, discussion boards, and chat room. Students have the ability to track their own progress also. Students can also through a variety of activities that apply to many different learning styles. Electronic learning could improve the quality of teaching and learning as it supports face-to-face teaching approaches. Blended learning also improves other factors for the teacher, including the following: more engaged students, better information and feedback on work, team teaching, extended time with students, more leadership roles, focus on deeper learning, motivate hard to reach the students. There's new options to teach at home, more earning power, individualized professional development plans, and of course, it improves teaching conditions. Blended learning tears down the traditional bricks and mortar approach to teaching, which can improve conditions such as reduced isolation, more opportunities for collaboration, meaningful professional development, better student data, improved time efficiency, role differentiation. So those are all the benefits that we can get from blended learning. Advantages of blended learning for students. For them, for our learners, it increases students' interest. When technology is integrated into school lessons, the kids or the learners are more likely to be interested in, focus on, and excited about the subjects they are studying. Subjects that might not be monotonous for something like math, science, while also increasing information retention. It also helps the students to keep the students focused for longer. The use of the computers to look up information and data is a tremendous lifesaver. Combined with access to resources such as internet to conduct research. This engagement and interaction with the resources keeps the students focused for longer periods that they would be with books or paper resources. This engagement also helps develop learning through exploration, and the research. It also provides students autonomy. The use of the learning materials or the electronic learning materials increases a student's ability to set appropriate learning goals and take charge of his own or her own learning, which develops an ability that will translatable across all the subjects. Instill, it's a disposition of self-advocacy. Students become self-driven and responsible, tracking their individual achievements, which helps develop the ability to find the resources or get the help they need. Self-advocating so they can reach their own goals. Also, one more, promote students' own ownership. Blended learning instills a sense of students' ownership over learning, which can be a powerful force, propelling the learning. It's the feeling of responsibility that helps the learners or the learning of ownership. It also allows instant diagnostic information and students' feedback. The ability to rapidly analyze, review, and give feedback to students' work gives the teacher the ability to tailor his or her teaching, the methods, and the feedback for each student while improving the time efficiency. It also enables the students to learn at their own pace. Due to flexibility of the blended learning and the ability to access internet resources, it allows the students to learn at their own pace. Meaning, a teacher can help speed up the learning process or give more advanced resources if necessary. It prepares the students for the future, of course. The blended learning offers a multitude of real world skills that directly translate into life skills like research skills, self learning, self engagement, help to develop a self driving force, better decision making, offers a larger sense of responsibility, and of course, computer literacy. Now, let's talk about blended learning versus what we call hybrid learning. So, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of teachers who are sometimes confused on what we are talking about, which is all about blended learning and the hybrid learning. Now, defining the hybrid and blended learning, as with many terms, it is also it's always been used with the term e-learning or electronic learning. Blended and hybrid are not used to mean the same thing, my dear participants, or my dear listeners or viewers. The same. So I want to start by explaining what I mean by those terms. So let's start. Hybrid learning. Hybrid learning is an educational approach where some students or learners participate in person and some participate online. All right? Teachers, instructors, professors can teach remote and in-person learners at the same time using the technology like video conferencing. With blended learning, the teachers and facilitators combine in-person instruction with online learning activities. Learners complete some components online and do others in person. Both types of learning involve a mix of in-person and online learning, but it differs in two scenarios. With hybrid learning, the in-person learners and the online learners are different individuals. With blended learning, the same individuals learn both in person and online. Right? The definitions I offer here build on the dictionary definitions of hybrid and blended. A hybrid is something heterogeneous. Heterogeneous learners group in which a subset learns in a person and a subset learns online. Something blended combines separate constituents to the point where they can't be distinguished. The learners aren't differentiated. They are all learning the same way through both online and in-person activities. Also, I've encountered some instances of people using sequential and parallel to make the distinction I described. Sequential for what I define as blended learning, and parallel for what I term simply hybrid. But the fundamental hybrid versus blended distinction remains. These are different bees that deserve different names. Now let's take a look at this next slide. Excuse me. Okay, blended learning versus hybrid learning. Here are some of the few examples to make sure we're on the same page, all right? Based on the definitions provided on the next slides, these are some examples. If you can try to answer on the comment section through our FB Live or Facebook Live or YouTube YouTube stream, you can type or encode blended learning or hybrid learning or blended or hybrid. Then take a few seconds after you read through each scenario to decide whether it's an example of hybrid or blended learning. Okay, let's start. Is it hybrid or blended? Before attending a seminar about engaging in difficult conversations, learners or students are asked to view a video on body language. So what do you think? Is it a hybrid or blended? Okay, so the correct answer is a blended learning. Okay, so it's blended learning. Let's go with the next. Number two, um, hybrid or blended? At the annual conference, roughly 80% of the registrants watched the keynoter from seats in front of the stage in the hotel ballroom, while the other catch her remarks via live stream. So is it a hybrid or blended? Okay, so my dear participants, it's a hybrid with a hybrid approach. Okay, next, number three. The facilitator moves through the exam preparation content, answering the questions from learners raising their hands in the classroom and from learners submitting questions through online video conferencing software. So, is it a hybrid or blended? So, the answer is it's hybrid. Okay, next. Fourth scenario. Once they complete a self-paced online module on learners are paired design thinking with a mentor who oversees their work on a pitch for a new product idea before they regroup in an online meeting to debrief what they've learned through the project. So is it a hybrid or blended? Okay. So the correct answer is a blended learning. Okay. So now let's proceed on some tips to develop an effective blended learning platform. Okay. How to design successful blended learning strategy. It's really important to understand the learning preferences. The learning preferences of the learners before designing a blended learning program. You should conduct surveys to receive their input and identify their training needs or their topic needs or skills needed. Blend the training program or the lesson program according to their preferences. When the learners enjoy the learning modules, the lesson will be more effective and engaging overall. So first, understand your learners' preferences. Again, it's really important to know or make a survey to identify their inputs from our learners. Okay? Next, offer supplemental resources. So this really matters. We should not stick with one reference material. If we can offer more learning resources or supplemental resources to our students, it will be beneficial for them. Always remember it should be updated for our learners so they can have the latest information in connection with the topic that you are presenting to them or discussing with them. Okay. Designing successful blended learning strategy, at first you need to define the learning goals. Defining appropriate learning goals according to your learners' needs is an essential aspect of blended learning. Learning objectives provide guidance to a lesson session and motivate your learners. Learning goals should be consistent with your class objectives or with your lessons objective or lessons topic. Ask yourself the following questions. First, what is the purpose? What is the purpose behind the training or behind the lesson? Number two, what do you wish to achieve at the end of the lesson? Number three, how will you measure your learners' efforts toward these goals? Next, what information should be included in the lesson? Next, how will it be beneficial to your learners? Another question, what results are you expecting? And important question is, how long should these goals or learning goals take to achieve? So again, my dear participants, you need to consider these questions. Next, choose the learning blend. After defining the goals, choose the topics and teaching method that will help you accomplish them. Create a content plan or lesson plan that clearly lists the, the skills, topics, and how the topics will be taught. Go, go through each one and determine the appropriate teaching method. Is it traditional or virtual classroom? Analyze the content and type of audience before choosing the learning method. For instance, our baby boomers, the generation of baby boomers, may prefer traditional classrooms, the traditional classroom learning, while millennials may prefer a virtual environment. If necessary, develop both classroom and online teaching methods. All right? The basics can be taught in the classroom, and additional articles, webinars, and videos, or any digital means to provide them. Encourage collaboration. Collaboration is one of the most important facets of blended learning. It allows the learners to interact with their peers and exchange the ideas. This enhances the efficiency of the lesson program and makes the learning more fun for the learners. Can be an online forum, discussion boards, video or audio meetings, even some chats, and webinars can all aid collaboration in a virtual classroom. Hands-on activities, group discussions, debate, projects, and scenario-based activities can be conducted in traditional classrooms to improve collaboration. This makes the blended learning subject or course interesting, and of course, it's engaging. Next one, we have assess your training program or your lesson program. A proper assessment plan should help you determine if the lesson program was really effective and whether the learners understood the course or the subject. We can develop some multiple assessment methods, including online quiz, learner to learner assessments, branching scenarios, and group discussions can simplify the assessment process. The data analytics, which tracks the learner's performance, can also be implemented. Provide feedback on a regular basis for them, for our learners, as it can motivate our learners to excel better. Okay, next. Receive feedback about the course or about the subject. Once the lesson is over, or the subject is over, or the semester is over, ask the learners to provide their feedbacks. This will help you adjust the course or the subject according to them, according to their preferences. We can also use surveys to identify what the learners like and dislike about the course or subject, what they think can be improved, and their ideas on how to improve it. Incorporating the learner's perspective can have a huge impact on the efficiency of blended learning strategies. Okay? So remember, receive feedback about the course or the subject. Okay. The goal of blended learning is to leverage the specific positive attributes of each environment to ensure the optimum use of resources to attain instructional goals and learning objectives. That's according to Holden and Westphal 2006. Remember, my dear participants, blended learning is a mixture of learning methods that incorporate multiple teaching models, most frequently electronic learning and traditional face-to-face learning. Blended learning is a natural development to the growing accessibility of electronic learning, online resources, and the continued need for a human component in the learning experience. A blended learner, a blended learning approach ensures that the learner is engaged and driving his or her individual learning experience. This approach also helps to cater to the individual needs of the learner. Most students have unique learning styles, and a blended approach is more likely to cater to those needs than a traditional classroom teaching experience. Now, let's talk about the models in blended learning. Actually, we have six models, and these models are the following. Okay, so first is face-to-face driver model. We also have the rotation model. Next is the flex model. Another model is the online laboratory model or online lab model. Self-blended model. And last model is the online driver model. All right, so let us differentiate the following models. Okay, so let's talk about face-to-face driver model. The face-to-face driver model is a type of blended learning in which technology is used alongside traditional teaching. Again, the type of blended learning in which the technology is used along with traditional teaching to increase the success in educational outcomes. Face-to-face classroom teaching is the main mode of delivery in this model, but technology is used to supplement the learning. We have been using this already, a combination of face-to-face teaching together with the usage of technology. One of the blended learning models, face-to-face driver model, is the closest to a typical school structure. With this approach, the introduction of online instruction is decided on a case-by-case basis, meaning only certain students in a given class will participate in any form of blended learning. The face-to-face driver approach allows the students who are struggling or working above their grade level to progress at their own pace using technology in the classroom. Some schools some schools have also found this face-to-face driver model to be a helpful way to engage English language learners, or the what we call the ELL, who sometimes fall behind not because they are incapable of understanding a concept, but because they are not native speakers. One example is a 2009 study of the Round Rock Independent School District in Texas. They found that the math and the reading test scores of third and fifth grade ELL, or the English language learners, increased following the implementation of blended learning and the use of interactive whiteboards. All right? So, meaning to say, the face-to-face driver model works best for diverse classroom in which the students are functioning at various levels of ability and mastery. In general, only some students will participate in online learning components. Like number one is students at mastery levels above their grade level may proceed at a more rapid pace. This prevents boredom by providing appropriate challenges for highly capable students. Number two, students who are at mastery levels below their grade level are given appropriate skill remediation in an effort to accelerate their learning. And the beauty of online learning for these children is that they are able to get all the practice they need to master the skills and to devise their own techniques that help to improve their own memories when content retention is required. And of course, students can receive remediation as well so that their English skills may be more rapidly acquired. All right? So that's the face-to-face driver model. We have the one of the best models, rotation model. In this form of blended learning, students rotate between different stations on a fixed schedule, either working online or spending face-to-face time with the teacher. The rotational model is more widely used in some primary schools or elementary schools. But because many are already set up to have students rotate between stations, many schools also are practicing the rotation model. The rotational model of blended learning was determined to be an effective means of increasing the achievement of students. They used the IDEA model also, where the students rotated between learning laboratories, where they use intelligent adaptive learning software to learn mathematical concepts, and a traditional classroom. The result? Students become more active learners and often challenge themselves to work harder and learn material that they have not been yet introduced in some mathematics or English classrooms. The rotation model, this is really just a variation of the learning station model that the teachers have been using for years. There is a set schedule by which the students have to face time with their teacher and then move to online work. This model seems to be most popular in the following environments. Like, for example, elementary classrooms or primary schooling, in which teachers have already used and are comfortable with traditional learning stations. Another is primary classrooms or elementary classrooms in which students can be divided based upon skill levels in reading and mathematics. Thus, these students who are performing well in math but not in reading may have face-to-face time with their teachers for reading before rotating to the online learning stations for mathematics. So see the combination of what we are doing or what I'm telling to all of you. Teachers are able to give struggling students more individual assistance based upon their needs. Next model, we have the flex model. So flex model schools who are supporting a large number of non-traditional or at-risk students often choose the model of blended learning. With this approach, material is primarily delivered online, although teachers are in the room to provide on-site support as needed. Learning is primarily self-guided, as students independently learn and practice new concepts in a digital environment. The flex model is an approach used by some academies, like for example, Advanced Path Academy, a blended learning school which works with school district partners to address the needs of the students with behavioral, academic, or socio-economic challenges. Most of the time in a computer lab learning online, certified teachers are also on site to work with some students on reading and writing. It led small group works and provide help as needed. The flex model. This model relies heavily on online instructional delivery, with teachers acting as facilitators rather than as primary deliverers of instruction. This model appears to be most used and most successful in the following environments. Like for example, alternative school settings in which the majority of the students' population is considered to be at risk. Traditional classroom setting have traditionally not been successful for these students or learners. Another, alternative school setting in which students are involved in work or study programs, have attendance problems, or have been placed in a part-time schooling program. And the last environment wherein the flex model is really effective and performing at its best is, as a rule, the grade level for the flex model is on secondary level. So meaning to say, something like an advanced skills, advanced topics for them. All right, next, online laboratory model or online lab model. As the school face increasingly tighter resource constraints, the online lab model of blended learning is a viable option for helping the students complete courses, including those are not offered at a specific school site. In this scenario, students learn entirely online but travel to a dedicated computer lab to complete their coursework or their subject or training. Adults supervise the laboratory, but they are not trained teachers. This not only allows the schools to offer courses or subjects for which they have no teacher or not enough teachers, but also it allows the students to work at a pace in a subject area that suits them without affecting the learning environment of other students. Okay? Then, um, online lab school model. This model involves students traveling to and attending a school with total online educational delivery for entire course or entire subject. There are no certified teachers at hand, but rather trained paraprofessionals who supervise the learners. This is a good option. Like for example, good option for different circumstances. First, secondary students who need flexibility of scheduling due to other responsibilities like job, child rearing, etc. Next, secondary students who choose this option in order to progress at a faster rate than they would in a traditional school setting. Another, third, students who need to move at a slower pace than traditional classroom provide. Fourth, schools and districts that face budget constraints and cannot accommodate their total populations in traditional classrooms, either because of facility restraints or the inability to employ enough certified teachers. So therefore, this online lab model eases the classroom size issues. We also have the self-blended model. So the self-blended model, it's really popular in high schools. The self-blend model of the blended learning gives the learners the opportunity. take classes beyond what is already offered at their school. While these individuals will attend a traditional school environment, they can also opt to supplement their learning through online courses or digital platforms. And in order for this method of blended learning to be successful, students must be highly self motivated. Self blend is ideal for the students who want to take additional advanced placement courses or additional subjects, or who has interest in a subject area that is not covered in traditional course catalog. Remember, my dear participants, self-blended model, this model allows coursework beyond that offered in traditional setting in a specific school or place. Students participate in a traditional classes but then enroll in courses to supplement their regular programs of the study. And this model is particularly beneficial in the following circumstances. First, a course or subject that is not offered by the school may be taken by a student who wants additional learning in a specific content field. Hmm. Next, students who wish advanced placement courses for early college credit can enroll in courses designed and approved for such. And the last one, students who are highly motivated and fully independent learners. The self-blended model of blended learning relies almost exclusively on online learning. Although students may use computer laboratories within their school or college and receive assistance from teachers about how to access online resources, what they access and when they do is usually entirely down to the student's concern. The idea that lies behind the self-blended model of blended learning is that it allows the students to choose um, areas of education that might otherwise be unavailable to them. I think we have the last model, the online driver model. As its simplest, the online driver model of the blended learning does away with nearly all of the traditional teaching methods used in the classrooms and lecture theaters. Although some courses or subjects that primarily use the online driver model of blended learning will induce a few elements of a face-to-face teaching. This online driver model is most often associated with all the subjects or course content being delivered via digital platform. At the opposite end of the spectrum from face-to-face driver, we have online driver model, which is a form of blended learning in which the students work remotely and material is primarily delivered via online platform. Although face-to-face check-ins are optional, students can usually chat with teachers online if they have questions. This model of blended learning is really ideal for some students who need more flexibility and independence in their daily schedules. This independence in their daily schedules, of course. This approach is becoming increasingly popular each year. The number of students participating in online driver program increases in other countries by 15%. So see, it's really beneficial to all of us. This model, online driver model, is a complete opposite of traditional face-to-face instructional environment. Students work from remote locations and receive all of the instructions via online platforms. Usually, there are some opportunities to check in with a course teacher or subject teacher and to engage in online messaging if an explanation is needed. Schools and division office here that offer this model find that the number of students opting for it increases annually. So the model works well for the following students: students with chronic illnesses or handicaps who find it difficult to attend school. Next, students whose jobs or other obligations demand flexibility to be in school at hours during which traditional schools are not in operation. Last one. Students who are highly motivated and who want to progress much faster than would be allowed in a traditional school setting. Okay, so remember everyone that these modules varies also with different learners. And of course, these models are really important. Blended learning is one of the best methods today. It has something in connection with the pandemic that appeared for the past 2 years. This blended learning helped a lot of students and teachers to bridge and to fill up the gap between the teacher and the students and serve as bridge to connect again with the learner's field and teacher's field to complete the educational field. So again, my dear participants, thank you for listening. Hope you learned well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your rich content presentation, which can impact our knowledge seeker surely. After your presentation, I hope our knowledge seeker can learn something new, which was our only intention. Learn and grow together, IGP Knowledge Seeker. Once again, thank you so much, dear sir, for your presentation. Now, sir, it's time for our question answer session, which is the one more valuable part of our regular webinar. Honorable sir, please stay with us. After a short video, we will be back in our session part 2, which is the question answer part. Dear IGP Knowledge Seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, we have a webinar certification and online quiz competition. Dear IGP Knowledge Seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, we have a webinar certification and online quiz competition. Dear IGP knowledge seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, we have a webinar certification and online quiz competition. So our first question is from Leotrim. What are the four C's of blending learning?
Okay, so the question is, what are the four C's? The four C's of blended learning. Okay, so the four C's of blended learning are really important. This is our main focus for our learners. It's almost the same with traditional teaching since pandemic happened. Since we are using the blended learning today, it's also the same C's, which are the communication, the collaboration, critical thinking, and of course the creativity. These are the four C's which we should give practice, or we should give focus in terms of communication between the teacher, the educator, and the learner. Should be well established, and of course create a communication between student to student, aside from teacher to student. Collaboration in terms of group activities that can perform face to face or even in online as a sustainable activity for them or additional activity. The next, critical thinking. Provide some activities that can that can prepare the students for some lifetime skills. Like for example, researching, providing some activities in relation with the goals, and last one, creativity. Let's give some activities that can help the learners to be creative by providing also some rubrics or score sheets that will help them to guide in preparing their activities or outputs. So again, communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. Those are the forces of blended learning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your answer. Dear IGP knowledge seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our sir. Thank you. After question answer, we have a webinar certification and online quiz competition. Sir, our next question is from Tabassum. What app uh, appreciated for online classes?
All right, which app? So there's a lot of app that can be used in the for online classes. So again, I will mention some that we have been using in our country, in the Philippines, in the Department of Education. First is Kahoot. Of course, we've been later you will use Kahoot in your quiz, and that's one form of online classes or delivering online classes. And again, um, Zoom. That's one example. Although Edmodo, if you're familiar with Edmodo website, but Edmodo was shut down. But there are some LMS, learning management system, we've been using as of now, and there's a lot of applications like Scratch, Prezi, Animoto, Edu Creation. So those are some of the apps that can be used, and the most widely used is the Google Classroom. Today, as of now, here in our country, we are still using and patronizing the use of the Google Classroom. It's really accessible for our learners, and at the same time, um, easy to manage. All right. So Google c- comes to package. So for us in the field of education here in our country, Google is one of the applications that I can say we've been using as of now. All right. So that's it. Prezi, another app. and many more. Quizlet, quizzes, there's a lot of apps, all right? So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, our next question is from Hannah. Good evening, sir. Which among the model you have mentioned you prefer the most and why?
All right. There's I presented a lot of models, but what I prefer the most and what I love the most is, for me, the best model is, mm, of course, face-to-face driver model and the flex model. I always use the flex model since flex model is you're giving the activity ahead of time for our learners, and in this kind of model the learners are being prepared to what they will do. You are giving ahead, you're giving you're giving the instructions ahead of time, and it's this model appears to be most useful and most successful in my students who are always in the field of their work or committed with some activities at home. So for me, flex model is one of the best. Another, I also said earlier, I also love to perform face-to-face driver model because this model is very typical to the school structure. We've been using this before. So since we are now returning to our normal setup in the field of education, we're now integrating the use of technology with our learners. So it means for me this face-to-face driver model is really effective, really hands-on for our learners. So flex model and face-to-face driver model. Those are my most used and, I may say, favorite models for this blended learning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, next question is from Facebook user. Sir, what can be a good thesis title about ADM or alternative delivery method?
All right. So a title of this is for ADM or alternative delivery mode. I think there's a lot of um, studies now that the different teachers around the globe are now using the ADM. Here in our country, we are also using ADM, alternative delivery mode. We can also create a thesis title. Like for example, I may suggest a title for this: the effectivity of the usage of ADM modules in a certain school. Like for example, here in our school, like for example, the effectivity or the effectiveness of the usage of ADM or alternative delivery modules to selected students in Antipolo City. So that's one example. We want to know the effectivity of the content of the modules and how the learners approach it, how the learners answering the activities included for a service package of learning for the students for a certain grade level. So that's one of my suggestions for a good title for the thesis in relation with ADM or alternative delivery mode or alternative delivery modal for learning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, next question is from John. What is the importance of 4Cs in 21st century skills?
Of course, the four C's are really important. It allows the learners to be prepared in their future, in their lifetime skills. If we are providing some activities with collaboration, communication, critical thinking, this will help them to be prepared for their future. Those activities that we will provide with these forces will help them to be ready, and of course they will experience now the importance of these activities. And when they are done with some with some activities, they will realize soon the importance of this cis in the as they are prepared now for their work soon. So again, the importance of the four C's, the creative thinking, communicating, and collaborating, critical thinking, it helps the students learn. So it will be more important to them or vital for their success to go beyond. And of course, it will help them a lot in the future to become better and of course for themselves to be prepared for their future. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your answer.
Thank you.
So there is no more questions from our participants. So once again, thank you so much for your presentation, sir.
Thank you so much, IGP, and thank you also to our participants, viewers, and to those who gave their questions. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Here in our country, we will say it, maraming salamat po. Thank you so much.
Welcome, sir. So before we move to the next webinar certification process, if you want to leave this studio, you can, sir.
Okay, I will leave now. So our learners, our viewers, our wisdom seekers will now have time to be prepared for our quiz. Thank you so much, IGP. More power. Thank you. God bless everyone.
IGP Knowledge Seeker is time for the webinar certification process, the most attractive and powerful part of our regular webinar. After a short video, we will start our webinar certification. After webinar certification, we have an online quiz competition and quiz certification. IGP Knowledge Seeker is time for the webinar certification process, the most attractive and powerful part of our regular webinar. After a short video, we will start our webinar certification. After webinar certification, we have an online quiz competition and quiz certification. Today was some technical problem. We cannot share our certificate code. We provide our certificate code in a short time. Thank you. Today was some technical problem. We cannot provide our certificate code. We provide our certificate code in a short time. Thank you. Dear IGP Knowledge Seeker, it's time for the most engaging part of this webinar, which is our online quiz competition, which is our regular webinar activity. Now, time for the online quiz competition. To join the online quiz competition properly, please follow my instruction carefully. Now, time for the online quiz competition. To join the online quiz competition properly, please follow my instruction carefully. Go to www.slido.com and find today's quiz or scan this QR code for direct joining. Quiz code is Global IGP. After a short video, we will start our quiz session. Please join in Slido with the code and the code is Global IGP. Please join in Slido with the code and the code is Global IGP. Please join in Slido with the code and the code is Global IGP. Please join in Slido with the code and the code is Global IGP. Please join in Slido with the code and the code is Global IGP. With 35 people, we are going to start our quiz session right now. Our first question is, the model of blended learning mentioned in the reading provide helpful and detailed design method for educators. Option 1 true, option 2 false. Option 2 is the right answer and 0% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Caroline is holding the first position. Our second question is, there are four main model of blended learning: Roten, Flax, LHRD, and Enriched Virtual. Option 1 true, option 2 false.
Incoming voice call from
Option 1 is the right answer and 71% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Charlian is holding the first position. Our third question is, school should be model of critical learning. Media influence our youth and impress its own from pedagogy. Option 1 Deve, option 2 Julius. Option 2 is the right answer, and 15% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Christiana is holding the first position. Our fourth question is two model of blended learning. Option 1 rotational model, option 2 learning system model. Option 1 is the right answer, and 74% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Jennifer is holding the first position. Our fifth question is how many model of blended learning? Option 1 none, option 2 1. Option 2 is the right answer, and 82% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Jennifer is holding the first position. Our sixth question is how many model of blended learning are feasible? Option 1 9, option 2 6. Option 2 is the right answer, and 91% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Jennifer is holding the first position. Our seventh question is the following are model of blended learning. Option 1 flex model, option 2 science lab model. Option 1 is the right answer, and 94% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Jennifer is holding the first position. Our eighth question is there are multiple model of blended learning. Option 1 true, option 2 false. Option 1 is the right answer, and 78% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Jennifer is holding the first position. Our second last question is what are the four model of blended learning? Option 1 rotation, flex, self blended, and inverse virtual. Option 2 desktop, laptop, mobile, and phone. Option 1 is the right answer, and 97% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Jennifer is holding the first position. Our last and final question is what are the model of blended learning? Option 1 activity level and instruction level blending. Option 2 activity level, course level, program level, and institution level blending. Option 2 is the right answer, and congratulations to our online quiz competition winner top 10. Congratulations again. Slido will take a few minutes for finalizing the result, and after that we will issue our online quiz competence certificate on our official Facebook page and group Institute of Global Professional. Congratulations to our online quiz competition winner top 10. Congratulations again. Slido will take a few minutes for finalizing the result, and after that we will issue our online quiz competence certificate on our official Facebook page and group Institute of Global Professional. Congratulations to our online quiz competition winner top 10. Congratulations again. Slido will take a few minutes for finalizing the result, and after that we will issue our online quiz competition certificate on our official Facebook page and group Institute of Global Professional. At the end of our session, we can say properly feed still never stop learning cause life never stop teaching us. Be happy and stay safe. See you again and again. We want your participation in every program. If you want to live a happy life, try to a goal, not to people or things. Albert Einstein. Before I say or hit the end like button, I again want to thank all IGP knowledge seekers for your active participation as always. See you again in the next session. Thank you.